we should be live, and you should be able to see the chat now.
Okay.
If you're in the StreamYard player, you can see the chat over on the right hand side. You'll see like comments, banners. Just click on comments, and it'll bring up.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you doing today? I know there's a bunch of people waiting in the chat already. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who are not familiar with my channel, I am Mark Yoon. I particularly do comic books and Soul Calibur content. I am joined today by Hayate Ein, which actually Ein is my favorite character in Dead or Alive, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. my original username comes from Dead or Alive. It was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And you know Kayane?
Yeah.
She also have a nickname with Ayane and Kazumi, which is basically a merge.
Yeah, both together.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to start us off. We are going to get to the chat. I am going to have you guys ask questions. I just want you to present yourself and give a little bit of information about who you are. And then we will go to chat and we'll go on to the next topic. So I'll leave it up to you.
Okay. So for people who don't know me, basically I'm a very, very old player from Soul Calibur. Like I played Soul Calibur from Soul Blade and Soul Edge. Then I started to be competitive player in France. That's why I have an accent. And starting Soul Calibur 2, my name started to be known because I did like a great performance with Yoon-Song in the World Game Cup. And after that, I decided to invest more of my time to help the Soul Calibur community. So first it was the French community. So I helped a lot the French community in Soul Calibur 1 to Soul Calibur 4. And starting Soul Calibur 5, I've been reached by a company to do the official guide, the official guide of Soul Calibur 5. And after that, when I heard rumors about Soul Calibur 6 coming up,
you wrote the guide for SCVI, right?
Yeah, yeah, the chapter for SCVI, and also I've contributed a lot on the mechanics, the chapter about the mechanics and the game system.
But you're basically primarily a Hong song main from back in the day.
Basically, I'm a Hwang main because I played Hwang in Soul Blade and in Soul Calibur 1, and I switched to Yoon-Song in Soul Calibur 2 because Hwang was not here, so I had to switch to a character which can remind me Hwang.
Yeah, they both use a Taekyon Korean style martial arts, so it's a little bit easier.
Yeah. And after that, I played Kilik because I didn't really like Yoon-Song in Soul Calibur 3. And I started playing Kilik. And after that, I only played Kilik until last year when they finally announced the return of Hwang.
Yeah. I've been trying to get back into using Hwang Sung-young, but he's actually so much different now that it's taking a while for me to get used to him.
Yeah. He's very hard to learn.
With the talisman.
Yeah, but he's really fun. Like I really like playing the new character. I really enjoy it.
You placed what 17th in the United States at a 500 in Evo. Was that 2009 or was that 2019?
Yeah, it was on 2019. It was the first. Yeah, the first big. I think it's the biggest Soul Calibur 6 tournament. There was like 500 or 600 participants, and I finished 17th. Yeah.
And in Japan, you did pretty well too, right?
I think
it was a pot of like 300.
Yeah, 24. Yeah, 24. That was great. Generally, my placement is okay. Like in France, I generally do the best I can do was generally third place. In Soul Calibur 6, I did 5th place. Mm-hmm. And on international tournaments, I generally do okay. Like I go pretty far. I hope to go to I hope to do another one maybe if the pandemic stops.
Because with the netcode the way that it is right now, like it's kind of hard. That's why they didn't have it as part of Evo 2020
Yeah.
or 2021, because like you can't have an online only tournament with Soul Calibur. The netcode,
Yeah.
the peer-to-peer is too bad.
Yeah.
As most of us know from playing online in Soul Calibur.
Yeah, but you know, most of the fighting games have this trouble, especially the Japanese fighting games.
Yeah, because a lot of them implement peer-to-peer.
Yeah.
They tend to only do like a rollback or like a false forward netcode if it's like a 2D kind of fighting game. Hoping that changes, but obviously to place an algorithm on like a 3D map space with like an 8-way run is a lot harder than just like a 2D space.
Yeah. Although my guess is more about the frames.
Yeah, it's a lot more frame data.
Yeah, in 2D fighting games, you have I think 30 frames, a base 30 frames
for animated cells.
Yeah, the games runs at 16 frames, but the main system is still on 30 frames. So the attacks extra, and that's way easier for them to implement rollback on a 30 frames game.
Right. Or even predictive rollback, where they can guess what you're going to combo into.
That's exactly the reason. I don't want to talk too much about this topic, but I know it pretty well. I know it pretty well, but yeah, it's harder to implement on 3D games with smooth animations.
Right.
Because you can't just cut the animations like in 2D games.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I want to just hear your experience a little bit, and then we'll get to some questions. I want to hear your experience a little bit about being in the actual fighting game community, like how you feel in different regions. Is it welcoming? Do you feel that it's like an easy place for beginners, or do you really have to be part of a team and have to be sponsored? And then how that translates to your content that you create online via, Twitch or YouTube. By the way, his YouTube channel is actually linked in my description box. It's the first link. So if you guys go down there, you can subscribe to his channel.
Yeah. So maybe people who discover the fighting game community may be very impressed, because now there is a lot of going on with sponsored team, big names. Yeah, but in general, what I've seen everywhere, even when I did go to Japan or to US, the fighting game community is very welcoming. They really, and I think it's because the fighting game community it really likes to gather and play each other not in online, very in offline gathering, and that's why they are very friendly. And I really hope, I really suggest everyone who is hesitant, if you wanna try, just go to a gathering and make new friends, and it's really welcoming.
Obviously, that's harder in rural parts of countries, but
that's the problem.
It's because most of those are like in the cities, and that's why they have the online invitationals and stuff like that. But again, that goes back to netcode.
Yeah, and the actual situation is extremely worse. So we have to wait. We have to wait a bit more to gather again. Hey, Crazy, hey, how are you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that like as a Soul Calibur like fan, long time fan, my first game was actually Soul Edge. I played the Japanese version first. Yeah, I played it before the Soul Blade came to America. Just because I was a huge fan of Bushido Blade back in the day. So as soon as I found out our weapons-based fighter was coming out, I was really, really excited.
Did you play Toshinden?
Yeah, I played Battle Ring Toshinden as well.
Yeah, that was my favorite game. Like when I bought the PlayStation 1, I had to choose between Tekken and Toshinden, and I immediately take Toshinden because of that is the only game where you can really move to the side.
Yeah,
and you can play with the ring.
Yeah, I mean, one of the original favorite points I always mention about Soul Edge and Soul Blade is the fact that you can actually lose your weapon to your opponent and you have
Yeah,
to fight hand to hand for a while. I always
yeah,
thought that should be a function that needs to come back, a feature that really could come back. I think they would have a lot better implementation doing something like that instead of reversal edge, for example. But
yeah, yeah. But the weapon, yeah, that was already the case in Samurai Shodown, I guess.
yeah,
Losing your weapon, yeah. But that's the cool stuff.
yeah, I just like some of the. I mean, like a lot of the new features that they've implemented, like defensively wise, like Soul Charge and like Perfect Guard and Guard Impact, I think are a lot more efficient than using Reversal Edge.
Yeah,
But I'm not one of those people that says that Reversal Edge needs to go away. I just think it needs to cost meter as opposed to successfully gaining meter
yeah,
after pulling it off, because you could just spam into supers and it really breaks up the gameplay a lot.
yeah. That's true.
Especially in the first couple months of the game when they actually had Reversal Edge automatically put into certain combo strings, which was really annoying. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that.
The fact that you had to force it to go into the cinematic, and yeah, it's very annoying. Also, the critical edge. I don't know what your fan thinks about, but in the competitive community,
Mm-hmm.
Soul Calibur competitive community, people generally don't really like to be stuck like on long animations.
Yeah,
Like they can't play.
I generally myself choose to go with Soul Charge for my meter as opposed to Critical Edge, just because you gain access to the entire move set of the character, which
Yeah,
is locked behind
yeah,
Soul
yeah,
Charge.
yeah.
Not to mention the fact I think it looks really cool and fun while you're both blasting Aura Soul Child like charge combos at each
Yeah,
other, as opposed
yeah,
to just like a short cinematic.
yeah.
Um,
I think critical edge is good,
mhm.
but some critical edge are very long. Like they really need to make it a
There
bit
should be an
shorter.
option that in competitive play or online play, like whenever you're playing against somebody that's not offline, that it should just cut to the like a quick startup of it and then the damage, like instead of just
Yeah,
going through the whole thing. That's just me
yeah,
personally. I
yeah.
really just don't like the rock paper scissors aspect, as Crazy is saying to Reversal Edge. It brings back a lot of bad memories of games like Dragon
Mm,
Ball Z Ultimate
mm,
Tenkaichi
yeah.
and like even Dragon Ball Budokai 3. They both had a horrible rock paper scissors mechanic.
Yeah, I think the only problem with the rock paper scissor, it's not the rock paper scissor itself. It's more about the fact that when you are the initiator of the reversal edge, like you did a successful reversal edge, so you're forced to go in. You're forced to like bet and gamble some of your life. So what will be very cool is if you can have an option to just like push back your opponent and disengage with a reversal edge. Because
Yeah,
with guard impact you can do that. Like you can guard impact and then you can do whatever you want. Like you can just press anything if you want. You can stay safe. And I think people don't like the fact that you're forced to like commit something, do
it's forced
something.
to initiate, right? Like if you're not acting participant in that, you're just getting drug into it. I
Yeah,
actually don't like that aspect either. There should be at least some kind of perfect block or perfect guard or guard impact to be able to
yeah,
counter that.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
even a counter. Like if you do a reversal edge at the same time they do a reversal edge, then maybe they counter each other and just don't do it. I think
yeah,
that would be fine. But again, we
yeah.
also have to get back to costing meter. That's something that I
Yeah,
hope
the
that they work
meter
on.
is a big problem.
It is.
The big problem of the reversal edge, and generally one of the problem in Soul Calibur 6. Um, I think I'm gonna talk about this when we will talk about Soul Calibur 7,
Mm-hmm.
because that's exactly one point that I want them to change something. Is the meter gain. Like the game is too flashy. You have too much meter, especially when you have reversal edge, etc. Yeah,
Which is fine for like offline or story mode or arcade
yeah,
mode or Libra of
yeah. It's
Soul.
okay. Yeah,
All that stuff's fine for that. But when you're playing online competitive, there really needs to be a toned down mode, like a mode where you can just like cut through that stuff. So it's just the fight.
yeah.
I agree with you there.
Okay.
Um, before we get to comments, I also want to see. This is going to go into, I guess, Soul Calibur 7, but you know what? We'll save that question for then. But start
Yeah,
thinking about now in the back of your head. I want to talk about Libra of Souls a little bit and how they can improve upon that, or maybe make it more like Chronicles of the Sword from 3, or some kind of way where they can make that more interactive for 7. But we'll get to that when we start talking about 7. Let's get to a couple comments real quick.
Okay.
Let's see. Crazy said Toshinden was fun back in the day. I agree. Michael Garcia says Bloody Roar, number one hands down. I actually prefer Bloody Roar 2, but I actually love Bloody Roar. So
yeah, I also like that game. It's a shame that we don't have any new game about Bloody Roar. Would be sick.
We have a contrarian opinion here. My mod, Atherin Dragoneel, says, I totally disagree with the critical edge. Even though some are long, it adds a nice break to the fight as form resets, at least for me. Yeah, the thing that we're talking about cinematics is for competitive mode only. We're not talking about offline mode. So
yeah,
like, if you want to be offline or in like unranked, like if you're in just casual, like online, you should be able to have all the flashiness that you want. We're only specifically talking about when you're actually playing competitively.
well, we don't need to like. I'm not here for trying to. We can disagree on things like this. I was just talking about in the competitive scene specifically when the critical edge are too long, because the players plays a lot. Like some players can play like 4 hours with the same guy training in one matchup specifically.
So they've seen it a billion times.
Yeah, you see so much time. Like it's it becoming. So yeah, it should be an option to maybe. I like critical edge. Like I really like some critical edge. Like one critical edge is very nice extra, but some of them like 2Bs, maybe another character I have in mind. But some of them are very long. Like very long. They need to cut a bit. Like.
And Crazy says, bring back Edge Master mode instead of Libra of Souls. I want them both. Like, I actually like Libra of Souls. I think they tried to redo Chronicles of the Sword in a modern day setting. I mean, there's ways to get around costing money for movement and stuff like that. I actually do like Libra of Souls. I just wish it was more involved. And I wish there was more, like some of the bonus characters from 3 actually show up. Like, I believe Miser and Arthur are in there. And, I like it for lore reasons, and I like playing it, but I would like to see Weapon Master mode and Towers come back.
So when you talk about the weapon master, you talk about the mode in Soul Calibur 1 or Soul Calibur 2?
I think that I'll let Crazy answer that. When I think about it, I think of Soul Calibur 1, but
yeah, with missions, different missions, and you win weapons.
That's similar. That's similar to what Libra of Souls tried to do, which is why Libra put like a lot of different things in there. Because if you make your character, you can upgrade the weapons. And then you unlock like the ultimate guy.
Yeah, but they missed a lot of potential here.
Well, like, we know about the budget though, and we know how hard it was to get this made. So you have to cut it some slack if you know about it. Because I've seen a lot of people like talk about it like in a negative way, and that's true. I did it first too. When my first initial review of the game came out on my YouTube channel, I trashed Libra of Souls. Like I really didn't like it. But after beating it like on with both endings and going through it multiple times, it kind of merges Weapon Master mode, Chronicles of the Soul, and Towers, because you get all those random fights where like you have the slippery floors or like the earthquake and then you can fight other people's created characters from all around the world. Granted, it's by the AI, not them, but that's similar to Soul Calibur 5's card battle endless mode. So I feel like they tried to put a lot into that mode, which is what I appreciate about it. And of course, with a better budget, more.
I'm not sure you can fight another player character.
You do. So what happens is at the end of the game and the post game, portals start opening up. And real created characters pop up, and you fight them in those in the astral chaos.
Okay, nice.
So they're from real people, but like the AI is controlling them.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like basically whatever you're sharing, whatever character you're sharing or have as like your main to share, that's what shows up in those astral portals.
I have a lot of ideas about Libra of Soul, because one of the mode I've loved is the Chronicle of the Sword in Soul
Yeah,
Calibur
my
3.
favorite mode. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. And if you look at the Libra, basically they need to improve the graphics. They need to improve yes, the immersion.
Character interactions, right? So
Yeah, character
they need more
interaction.
cinematics. There needs
And
to be. Yeah.
and the whole thing about adding new techniques or modifier in your weapons is an extremely good idea, but they really missed the potential here. Like, they could have done a mode where you can just build whatever your character you want with the upgraded weapons, and then fight versus another person in another competitive mode, maybe more casual competitive mode,
Yeah.
And they could had teams, or maybe fortress, or you can just join a team and then have your 3 mercenary defending a fortress with another person extra. They could have done a lot of things with this mode.
I think the problem with that is like they know the player base for 6, so like it would have to fall back a lot on AI, because the way that the players are like active player bases right now, there's not a lot of players, especially on like Xbox, and I think PlayStation has the most and PC is second, but there's not a lot of people that play unless it's like DLC that comes out or a tournament that's going on. The active player base is really low right now.
Yeah, but the grinding modes are pretty low in Soul Calibur 6.
Right.
Like, I mean, fighting an EI is not a problem if you have like grinding objectives.
Right.
Like in Soul Calibur 6, you just finish the story and you have all the part unlocked extra, and you don't really have any incentive to unlock titles. You don't have any incentive to unlock anything. But if you could have more
I only did it
things,
for the library, because like there's a lot of library lore that's like, put in behind that stuff. That's what I did for.
Yeah, but it's
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like it's a lot better in 3 when like you're leveling up your weapon, and like even like the created characters had totally different weapon styles from the main cast.
Yeah.
And then you could unlock like like the soul of Taki or whatever.
Yeah, and the graphics is very important. I mean the interface, the user interface. Like, if they could improve the graphics, make it more beautiful, like make it more shiny, you will have much more incentive to collect everything.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't really like what they did in the museum in Soul Calibur 6. It's the content is here. It's pretty great, but
it's just reading.
Yeah, it's not shining,
Yeah.
You don't want to.
At least if they had a voiceover, right? That would do a world of difference. If you had like a character, like a narrator talking, like reading it to you, that would even be much better. I actually have a part of my channel called Vocal Library, where I go through the entire library and I read it back and give my comments at the end.
Yeah.
Just because I know a lot of people don't want to unlock that stuff and read it. I've seen a couple comments here that I want to get to real quick. Crazy says Libra of Souls would be okay if you could play as a canon character like Mitsurugi, Kilik, Siegfried instead of a random Kratos Soul. Only reason I disagree with that is because our random Kratos Soul is canon now. It's actually part of like the story, so it's part of the main story. Like, we're just doing our thing to kind of the astral like realm and the astral fissures.
Yeah, and I think that the point of the mode is to give
your created character.
Yeah, incentive to create a character.
That's what made Chronicles of the Sword so good. Is like, not only could you create your characters, but you can edit all of the characters that you meet, and it basically turns into your own mini RPG within the game, which is one of the reasons I really loved it. Solarflare95 says you can have all the good ideas that you want, but without a good budget, you can't really execute them properly.
Yeah,
100% agree. But at least we know that, like, since Motohiro Okubo, Masayama-sama, and like all the rest of Project Soul came forward with the new Project Soul that Okubo put together, and they came forward to Bandai Namco and announced this game. They gave them their 1 million budget, and they said, not dollars, their 1 million sales they need to get in order to get a sequel. And they surpassed that. They came out with 2 great seasons. They weren't even expecting the first season or the second season. So I think that a lot of that is fine. I actually wanted to talk to you about this real quick because you're on the opposite end of me for this.
About what?
A million videos on season 3 and how we know
Yeah.
that the data was in the game.
Yeah.
We know that like Rock, Aeon, and Yoon Song's data was in the game.
Yeah.
For season 3.
I mean, that wasn't their data. That was just placeholders.
They were character placeholder names, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if we make a season, these are going to be the characters that are in the season.
Yeah.
And I explained that when I actually hacked the game myself. I shouldn't be saying that, but I did, and I pulled the data and talked about that. And it was really cool.
I did it. I did it too when they announced it. I mean, when the rumors about Huang popped out,
yeah,
I just hacked the game and verified myself, and yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. I'm glad they ended it on Huang. I'm just saying that like I think it's in a really good spot right now because not only do we have the to be continued, we have the build up from the season 2 Soul Chronicles. They have the swords and shepherds getting together. Ishka Oct, Curtis joining them, Nightmare starting to look for the shards, our creative soul character doing what they're doing, Huang taking on this kind of like Secret Service FBI type role.
Yeah, he's not
trained.
very important.
It's really, really cool what they're doing with the story and how they're breaking so far away from the original timeline. And Soul Calibur 7 has me really excited for that. That being said, if they released like Rock and like, you know, Aeon, which aren't really important to the story too much.
Yeah.
I think that can actually diminish the hype.
So, I see.
Because they don't usually, those characters aren't usually part of the main story. You know what I mean? They usually do their own things on the side.
Yeah, unless they manage to do something like they did with Huang, but it's gonna be really hard to do this like for 3 characters in a row.
Yeah. That's why I think they'd be better like reimagined in the base roster of Soul Calibur 7 as opposed to re-releasing more DLC. Because I've seen a lot of people throwing ideas out there like, well, what if they do a remastered version? Soul Calibur's never done a remastered version, so I don't think.
Well, so in this topic, so you're basically saying that you think it's better for the game to have Soul Calibur 7, like to go into Soul Calibur 7.
For the next generation of consoles, especially.
Yeah, next generation of console. And so, and yeah, in that point, I don't know exactly what is better for the game, like for the potential
the build up or the hype for 7.
Yeah, the money, basically. Yeah. I don't know what is better, but what I know is now that I have my character, I can play it. I have a game that talk about what happened in Soul Calibur 1, basically in the the timeline is all about Soul Calibur 1 and a bit Soul Calibur 2. I'm really frustrated to not have the story of Aeon, to not have the story of Rock, and not being able to play Yeon-Song
or Li Long.
Maybe Li Long, yeah. Well, I was playing Li Long in Soul Blade.
Soul Blade and Soul Edge, yeah.
Yeah. So. I'm very frustrated because the game setting is perfect. The mode, the conical mode, I really like what they did in the Soul Chronicle mode.
Yeah.
So if they go for Soul Calibur 7, I'm not sure. I don't have any how I can say this in English, any confidence that they will do the same. I'm not sure they will do the same. So because of that, I don't know what they will do in Soul Calibur 7. I don't know if they will put Huang again. Probably they will. They will. Because of the story, but
yeah, I would say the story, unless like something. I mean, we know Motohiro Okubo left, but he's just the executive producer, right? He's not like the director or the writer or anything.
Yeah.
So unless like in the entire Project Soul, which is possible because it's happened many times before, is to a whole new team. It's not going to be. I think they're going to go with that story, and also I think that another thing that's safe with this. That my point of view is that like as much as I would love more content for the game, like we could still play tons of stuff that are in the game right now, but people are saying that like, well, it needs to stay relevant in our eyes, and they can make Soul Calibur 7 at the same time, but people don't realize how small Project Soul is. It's not like Tekken's staff. It's not like the team that makes
Yeah. They are at least half or more smaller.
It's a pretty
Yeah,
small team in comparison. And they get a budget based on that. So if they focused on using some of those resources for season 3, it could potentially affect Soul Calibur 7 or the release of Soul Calibur 7.
Yeah.
Which I'm estimating will be around 2023
Yeah.
or 24.
Yeah.
But I don't want to push that off and see another 6-year gap in between titles. You know,
so basically, the reason why I want this game to have a season 3 is only because I don't want to wait 4 years. And the game, the current game, I really love it. I really like it. I have finally some characters who have returned, and it will be really good to have to finish this game. For me to finish this game is to add Yeon-Sung, Ion, Rock, and maybe Lilong. But I understand your point of view, and I can understand that they're not going to do that, especially in my opinion because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think Okubo tried to have a deal with basically the he wanted to build like a hype around the game with the world tour, and since it has been cancelled because of the pandemic, I'm pretty sure the season 3 was bind to that. It was really bind to that. And maybe if they do something after the pandemic, but now there is so much time that have passed. I don't know if they're gonna try to do a season 3. And I just want to say another thing. You know the departure of Okubo?
Do I know what about Okubo?
Yeah. You know, when they announced Soul Calibur 6, we didn't know that Okubo was working on Soul Calibur 6.
Right.
So when he announced that he was the producer, the game was maybe already 2 years of development. So maybe they have changed producer already. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Let me get to a few comments. Let's see. Okay, this person says, I would love to see Soul Calibur 3 HD on Switch. That's not going to happen because Sony has the distribution rights for that game officially. They paid for Soul Calibur 3 to be made. That's why it's the only game in the series that doesn't have sales attributed to it, and it's why it's a PlayStation 2 exclusive. So without giving up those distribution rights, it probably wouldn't be on Switch. I would love that because it's my favorite Soul Calibur, and to have it portably. I mean, I still play on my PS2, but
there is a good mode you can install to play on PC, the emulated version of Soul Calibur 3.
Yeah, I think I want to because I have it emulated on my PC, but it's only the arcade edition just because I want Huang in the base roster and stuff. But obviously I have the original on my PS2. I actually modded my PS2 with a hard drive so I don't have to use my disc as often because I don't want it to stop running because I play Soul Calibur 3 so often.
Yeah.
Same with Soul Edge and same with Soul Blade. I don't like using that disc, so I try to just burn it.
Yeah. Okay, I can see Soul Calibur 5 in Hayate's background. Yeah, I have the version of the limited version. How not in this side? Yeah, you have the limited version here.
Yeah, I have the same thing.
Yeah.
There, see it?
Yeah.
I just don't show everything, but it's right up there, but underneath that, next to the PS5 box.
Yeah. And I don't have the book right behind, but I have the book in the other side about the Soul Calibur 5 guide. That was a very, very good experience to work with actually professionals about this game, and we did a really, really good guide. I really liked that.
Let's see what else we have. Okay. He said Soul Calibur 3 is the one entry I never owned because I never had a PS2. That's crazy because PS2 was the top selling console of all time, isn't it? I feel like most people had a PS2.
Yeah.
It's understandable if based on age, if you weren't around for that era. I had a PS2, a GameCube, and an Xbox.
Yeah.
the reason I had all three is because when Soul Calibur 2 came out, I wanted all three versions.
Yeah, and PS2 was pretty dominant. Like the Dreamcast didn't sell very well.
I had a Dreamcast, but like I think
I had to.
Yeah, I loved it, but most of those titles now are on other systems now. Like we have Shenmue already. Like I think the only one that hasn't has Crazy Taxi ever been ported? I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't know.
Let's see. I emulated every game except Soul Calibur 4 and Soul Calibur 5. PS3 emulation is tricky. Yeah, it's because of the cores that they use. There's a different processor.
Yeah.
And he said he had a GameCube. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Dreamcast was actually great. Like I love like the memory card. You could play those mini games and stuff. That's where I played Soul Calibur 1, obviously, because it was only on Dreamcast. And well, now it's on Xbox, I think, as well. I think you can buy it on the Xbox Marketplace there. But when it was originally released physically, it was only on Dreamcast.
Yeah, and it was a mind-blowing game, and that's also something that we miss about Soul Calibur is mind-blowing graphics. And,
I think 4 was really the last one that had really good graphics. But again, they were being paid by LucasArts to develop that game, so they had a lot of money behind it.
Yeah. I hope they're gonna do. I hope they're gonna put more budget on graphics.
Well, they have to. Well, Soul Calibur 5. The reason it looks so bad, obviously, is because with the budget, what they did is they reused a lot of prior assets that they already had from 5, and they just built them into Unreal Engine 4.
Oh, you mean Soul Calibur 6?
Yeah, okay. Soul Calibur 6. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. So, I mean, obviously, it's not going to look as great as like it was supposed to originally look, but I still think it gets the job done. But porting all this stuff into Unreal Engine 5, and then like the way we've seen them transform characters like Hwang Sung-young already and Setsuka even, I think we're going to be looking forward to a treat with Soul Calibur 7. I'm super excited about it. I mean,
is that gonna go more?
Yeah, they're gonna put a lot more money into the actual presentation of the game and the modes and stuff. Because they know what we want. It's not like they don't know. Like they have people out there. They watch these videos.
Yeah, they just need to have the green lights.
Yeah, that's up to Bandai Namco. But we also know that Bandai Namco Studios is probably going to greenlight them for a better. I mean, their goal was $1 million. They sold over $2 million.
Yeah, at least they're gonna do the same thing.
Yeah,
but we can expect something a bit bigger.
Yeah, I think so too, especially with the 2 successful seasons. Oh, let's see.
But I'm still believing in season 3. I think I'm gonna wait.
You're optimistic about it, but
yeah, I think I'm gonna wait the next online tournament they want to do, and see how it happens about the pandemic. You know why? Because
for it until I said Evo and E3 were the last straws. I was like, if it's not at E3 or Evo this year, then it's not coming. The only reason I made stuff based on that is because they have to work now to port that stuff into Unreal Engine 5 if they want to make Soul Calibur 7 within this generation. We know they usually make their games midway to end the life cycle of consoles, but with that small team, they have to use all the time they need.
The only reason I think it might happen is just because the way they did the game, actually Okubo's the way they did the game, it's very, very compliant with DLC selling. Like the whole, adding new chapter in the story mode. It's easy. It's not easy, but it's pretty easy for them. And the other reason is the fighting game market seems to change a bit, and it seems the games tend to stay much longer.
I agree with much that, longer. Except not into next generations, though.
Maybe.
Because people want PS5 games now. They want like Series X games now. That's like the thing.
But
even PC players, because the higher resolution games and the better quality games that come out for next gen consoles, PC players are going to have all of that tenfold. So like it's really just catering to the last generation, which they usually only do for the first year, maybe 2 of a console.
Yeah, but they waited a lot for Soul Calibur 6 actually. Like that the reason they did Soul Calibur 6 is because they said we wanted to do a Soul Calibur in this generation of console.
Right.
And they waited like the last time to do it. So what I want to say about this is the other reasons why I think it should be okay is I don't fear too much about the success of a season 3. I think a season 3 might sell pretty well because the current base is most of fans, and if you just announce a season 3, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would just jump on it and buy it.
Well, like you said though before, I think it would have to be during I think it would have to be after the pandemic because they would need land for that. They can't do that with online. Like, because if
that's the only problem. Yeah,
if esports drops it, it's not going to get promoted well.
Yeah. So and it's worse. It's really worse because people tend to forget how the situation is in Japan.
Yeah, Japan's way worse than we are, and they deal with earthquakes. They just had another big earthquake. They deal with like tsunamis. A lot of their studios are actually subsidized out to South Korea now. A lot of people don't know that. So like it's you got to combine things, and their perspective on the pandemic is actually they're still in lockdown too. Like they're not.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's because they downplayed the pandemic for long because they think they're not gonna get impacted too much.
Yeah.
And now they get hit very hard in the last 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Some people are saying that Soul Calibur 6 must continue. It's too soon for Soul Calibur 7. Some people are saying 2023. This person says 2025. That is way too long. That would be another, like, this game came out in 2018. So if you're saying 2025, you're saying 8 years between games. That's not going to happen. It's going to be 2023 or 2024 at the latest, because for all we know, they've been working with extra members of the Tekken staff to actually work on it behind the scenes while they're doing the seasons. So like we don't know what's going on with that, but I'm expecting maybe another like 2 years and then it's going to come out.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to close this topic, I would be very happy if there is season 3, but I'm not gonna be mad if there is not a season 3 announced in the next months. And I would be very happy if they can do a Soul Calibur 7 pretty quick.
Yeah, me too. Especially if they have something to build upon, because we can always have like DLC, which I don't mind paying for DLC if it's related to story and good characters and stuff. As long as it's not microtransactions, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then we have, there's people disagreeing with us about the situation of Japan. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff involved in that. I don't know if you guys remember, but if you were fans of anime, during the tsunami, when they got hit with the tsunami really bad, Naruto Shippuden was still coming out. And people were like, how is this still coming out? And if you look at the credits, it's all Korean names.
So, okay.
Like, a lot of their studios moved to South Korea to avoid that kind of stuff because they don't get hit as hard because they're a peninsula, but Japan's an island. So an island is basically an active volcano as it is. Like you're on tectonic like plates, you're going to get messed up.
I see.
You just saw the huge eruption that happened in Hawaii this week. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah. So it's like islands have it pretty rough. They're beautiful and tropical, but
the world is becoming dangerous. More dangerous than 10 years ago.
More than we've seen in our generation, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to put a pin in this topic and move on to I just want to start talking about how we feel. I guess we already talked about really how we feel Soul Calibur 6 did as a whole. We both like it. I mean, it has improvements. So I think we can move on to Soul Calibur 7 since we're at the 45-minute mark. Let's talk about what we expect to see for Soul Calibur 7, what we want to see for Soul Calibur 7, and what we don't want to see for Soul Calibur 7.
Sure.
So I'll let you take the floor for starting off what we expect to see, what we want to see.
So I did a list in my head, and the first thing that they really need to do is please keep the characters and please keep the story around the characters, because now that the game is more selling to the fans, I think the fans really appreciate when their characters are interacting, are doing stuff in the story. So they really, I really hope they're gonna keep that. I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep that, but
I don't think we
really
have to
hope.
worry about that, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's the main thing. Like if they remove that, the game lose a big interest.
well, Soul Calibur 5 is the worst selling Soul Calibur game of all time. Like,
Yeah, and you know
definitively.
what?
It
It's
only
because
sold 1.38 million copies.
yeah, and it because there is only 2 character who is interacting in the. I mean, maybe 4 character who is interacting really in the story mode.
Because the story
Like
mode was cut by 75%, but that's
yeah,
because the
yeah,
director at the time was taking a really big. He wanted to make Soul Calibur into the next Third Strike, Street Fighter Third Strike.
yeah, yeah.
And he wanted to get rid of all the. Like, he wanted to focus on esports.
Yeah.
Which doing all that stuff caused at the detriment of like their deadline, and then Bandai Namco was like, you can't have an extension, so they had to rush the game out as it was, and then the director left like 2 months after the game released and the sales came out. So
I've talked a lot about Soul Calibur 5 with a friend. So I'm gonna not. We can do a video about this, but the only thing I can say is when you are a fan. When you are a fan of a character, and you play Soul Calibur 5, if your character isn't in the story mode, like you're just buying a game, there is nothing. Like there is no content.
Honestly, the only reason I played Soul Calibur 5 was for the creation engine, the character creator.
Yeah, the character creation is good, but besides that,
yeah. Well, Huang is my favorite character. Huang Sung-gyung is my favorite character of all time. So the fact that he hasn't been in a game since Soul Calibur 3, and technically not even then, like I was already pushing me into like these new characters. No, Shiba's not going to come back. If Shiba comes back, it's going to be as a bonus character in like a different mode. Like they're not going to replace the characters again.
You know when it can come back, I'm pretty sure. If one day Soul Calibur becomes a bit more successful, they might do maybe a tag version of the game.
That's what we've talked about this on this channel a lot. If they had a tag version that didn't care about whether it's a reboot or new timeline,
they're gonna put everybody
right. Obviously, except for the guests and some of the bonus characters like Shura and like Kamakiri Musi and the ones that were created by the mangaka. But if they had everybody in there and even like let us like choose some of the bonus characters and stuff, that I'd be fine with that. But they know the sales, they know what happened to Project Soul, they know what happened to everything after Soul Calibur 5. They're not going to redo that.
The Street Fighter 3 path.
That's why
it was basically I think it was basically the fighting game struggle, because the fighting game companies was struggling to try to appeal to new people,
right?
And they don't want to get stuck on old characters, like basic fan characters, so to try to refresh half of the cast. But that's not the way to go. Definitely not the way to go.
Maki says, I got excited at the thought of a Hwang Sung-young and Sung-mina child, but was disheartened when I found out that no such thing exists. Well, they were only friends in the past timeline, but this timeline, there's a lot more romantic interaction.
Yeah.
There's a lot more romantic interaction in Soul Calibur 6 between those two. So we may possibly see something like that in the future. But we got to remember, in this game, in this timeline, SCVI is mentioned actually in the library, but he's only 12 years old. So unless there's a major time skip in the next game, we are going to see Viola. We are going to see SCVI. They're going to be part of the Swords and the Shepherds. That's guaranteed.
Yeah. So to get back to your question, just quickly. So the first thing they need to do is keep their character in the story mode. The second thing is they really need to add a lot of grinding modes, casual modes, because even if Soul Calibur can be an extremely good competitive game, and I really love playing it competitively, I think this game is better to go to the path for casual play, creation mode.
I agree.
So different things. So they really need to do the maybe a Chronicle of the Sword or something like this, a mode like this, or maybe make the Libra of Soul a bit better. That would also be great.
I think Libra of Soul has the potential to be expanded into something much better.
with more a modificator on weapons, on stuff, maybe modes to play with friends, with their characters extra. And finally, they really need to put some more money about the graphics of the game, but not the 3D graphics. The whole, I mean, Soul Calibur is an immersive game. It's about a setting in the past. It's about fantasy. It's about magic. It's about a lot of things. You need to put some budget so people can like be feeling this.
Yeah,
they
even,
really need to.
even in the menus, like, because the main menu is just like a black bar with modes and then a picture.
Yeah, the
it's-
money is okay, but they really need to put more. Like, yeah, I know it costs a lot, but please try doing like maybe an intro, like a quick intro. I don't know, like try to appeal to people who wants to things that they are going in the past, and you have to be more immersive. So you really need to put a bit more money. I know it's hard, but I think that Soul Calibur can't be Soul Calibur if it's just cheap stuff.
I think we're going that way. I mean, like not only do we have more than 2 million sales physically, but digital sales are never released, right? So we have no idea how well it's sold behind the scenes digitally on the back end.
Yeah.
And that's pure profit. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to create a physical disc for that. They don't have to, that's just straight up a license key that they can get free money from. And I know personally, I own Soul Calibur 6, the special edition, physically, but I also have it digitally on Xbox Series X, so I can play with like Xbox members and part of the Yoon-Fam that like don't have a PlayStation. So a lot of people that I know own the game digitally as well as physically or just digitally. So that 2 million sales is probably more like 6 million or 4 million to be fair. But
yeah, maybe they have a lot of money to make a new shiny Soul Edge intro.
We're seeing them talk about intros, and the intros they need to bring back. That's like
you don't really need to make it TGI.
I've been saying I want anime. I want anime.
Yeah, you can do it anime. You can do it 3D. How you say that? Real time 3D.
Yeah.
You can even do that. Like just put a bit more, immersion. Plus, put a bit more immersion.
Right. I like pre-rendered cutscenes using the 3D engine that's already there. I get that.
Yeah, it's okay.
I personally really want to see anime, since like there was supposed to be a Soul Calibur anime that came out during Soul Calibur 5, but it was supposed to take place during the 17-year time skip of Soul Calibur 4 and Soul Calibur 5, but that got canceled when the sales were released for Soul Calibur 5.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if they would revisit something like that and have an animated cutscene for the game itself. But animation is like super expensive, so in game is probably the better way to go if you want to save the money for budget.
Yep. And they can also animate. I did one of my last video. I did the story of Kilik, for example, and I tried to use the graphics of Soul Calibur 6 in the Soul Chronicle mode, but I tried to animate it. Like I tried to add some effects, like I tried to have some burning flames, some characters moving, etc. And
what was the name of that video?
It was one of maybe the last third video. Story of Kilik. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna bring it up for a second while we're talking about
it. So I tried to animate basically some of their scene, and it's something they can do, like something they can put some money on, and you're gonna have a much more immersive experience when you're doing the story mode.
Yeah. I'm getting past the ads. I watched some ads for you, so there's some money for you.
Thank you.
Let's see. All right, we're gonna share this.
I think it's a cheap way to add an immersion. And I've done one episode in this channel about Soul Blade a while ago. Yeah, you can go forward. Like once more to cover this.
Yeah, what part do you want me to go into the video?
Yeah. So without further ado, here is the story of a young monk who decided to carve his own fate.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, it's starting. Like you can let this.
The
You know, you can
temple
do
was engulfed
can do
in
some
flames,
stuff like that.
His residents slaughtered when Kilik came to his senses.
Yeah, just even
There
like
were
right,
only two people
instead of
left
just the
alive,
talking,
himself
like in pictures
and
like
his
this,
sister.
yeah, that looks beautiful. Even just the embers and the
In the heat of the moment, Kilik shows survival and, in self-defense, put to death the most precious person in his life.
yeah, like even the blood effects.
soul
That's so
survival was
simple to
broken
do,
by
and they really
guilt
need to.
over
I
the
mean,
one
you did a
who
great
loved
job. It's not
became
that
a
simple,
shell of a
but I
man,
mean, for a
just
big company,
Yeah,
like this, it's so easy to.
But
add
I mean, they can have more people working on it, you
Everything
know.
was ashes,
Right.
Kilik was picked up
By the
by
way, guys,
inhabitants of the
if you
temple.
like this,
An
like
old
I
figure
do,
the monks once called the
you
Edge
can go
Master.
to
This
Hayate's
old man
YouTube channel
left Kilik with a choice
and
to bring
subscribe,
himself up
please.
to clean.
I will. His name is Hayate Ein on YouTube, so it's super easy for you to go and find him.
Yeah,
But like I said, there's also a link to his YouTube in my description box down below. So it's the first link right in the description box. So please check him out and subscribe.
So just for people who knows already about this video, I'm preparing a video about Huang also. So I'm gonna do a video about story of Huang and what I think they're gonna do with Huang, what I expect they're gonna do with Huang. But since I'm actually trying to learn a new job extra since like 6 months, I don't have a lot of time. But I think next year I would probably have time to finish this.
It sounds like something to look forward to.
Yeah.
All right. So we are at the hour mark. Let's talk about real quick the things that we absolutely do not want to see in Soul Calibur 7. And I think we can go from there.
Okay. Can I have your opinion? Because I've
Sure.
talked a lot, but can you remind me your opinion about what you like in Soul Calibur, you absolutely want, and what you don't want?
Well, I'm big on the lore and the character creation stuff. So anything to combine the two of those, I'm happy with. I want to see everyone return, obviously. And I would like to see an expansion of their stories and more crossover instead of just them forming their little groups and going their separate ways. Because you have like your Kilik and like Maxi and like Shanghua, and then like you have like Yoon Song and like Sungmina and Huang. Like I want to see like them interact more together.
Yeah.
I also want them to go more into like the emotional aspect of their journeys as opposed to just the fights. Like I know that might be a little boring, but if they have some kind of animated style or style in 3D range, like of using the in-game graphics, I would like to see more of like, Sungmina falling in love with Hwang Sung-young, or like, trying to figure out how he got these new powers and like why he's so different.
Or maybe Yoon Sung hating Wang and then maybe falling in love with the masked Wang, and then he don't like understand who is, and then finally he learns that Wang is actually the man who he likes, etc. So that could be a big drama. It would be very, very nice.
More drama. Like I definitely want to just be involved in a story. I want
Korean drama.
Kokoro is correct. I want alternate costumes to come back, not just spaces for creating costumes. I want actual alternate costumes. That's like probably my biggest thing for this next game is please bring back alternate costumes and then give us the slots for creating our own. But I do want to see 2 costumes for every character.
Yeah,
that's like a must for me. And
just something about this. I think they like passed the deal, which is we're not gonna put alternate costume, but we're gonna let you basically
edit.
They're gonna let you put every character's model in every character. Like they basically make the first costume available for every characters. So maybe that's why it took so much time for them.
I understand that, but I mean, some of the alts like are usually like more traditional outfits, and as opposed to like the battle gi. So like for someone like Sungmina, I really love her traditional humbuck style that she had in Soul Calibur 3.
Yeah.
And I would love to see her humbuck come back. I would love to even see like Huang have like a traditional like Taekyon or like pre-Taekwondo dogi. You know, I
Yeah.
just want to see more cultural references in
Yeah.
their outfits, and I think they can do that easily with the second
Yeah.
with the two-player.
The only thing I want to say is it's not easy because now that every model is shared with
Mhm.
other characters, when for example, when they put the Soul Calibur 4 Songbina outfit,
Mhm.
they needed to make it available for every character. So they needed to edit it a bit so Talim
I
can
think
wear
they don't
it.
need that. I think if you have the alternate costume, it's just for that character. They don't have to make that a part of creator.
I think that's the deal they paste because they want that the creation mode the
To share
biggest
everything.
possible. So
Well,
they don't want to lock things.
that goes into my next point. I want them to get rid of the unneeded, unnecessary locks that they have on the creation engine of 6.
Yeah.
So no
Yeah.
more locking certain things or clothes behind genders or races, because that's really stupid. Like characters that I was easily able to create in Soul Calibur 5, I can't create in 6 just
Okay.
because they have certain things locked behind
Okay.
certain characters.
Yeah,
Like if I want to make
incompatibility.
Nightcrawler from the X-Men, right? He's got that little pointed demon tail. I made him in 5 easily, but I can't make him in 6 because the only way to get that tail is with the demon race, and they have horns automatically. You can't take their horns off, so it's like you can't create that character anymore. If they just make everything neutral, like you can choose a base race to start with, and maybe they look a little bit different in their base model, but all the clothes, all the accessories, everything else is accessible to everyone, then I'll be happy.
Okay.
I also want them to add more stickers and things that we can like play around with. Like 5 had a lot more stickers than we did in 6. There's a lot more katakana and kanji.
Maybe a fourth slot of accessory.
Yes, I would definitely want a 4th slot, and excuse me, I would also like to treat some of the other accessories. You know what I'm talking about? So like not just the clothes, but some of like the hats and things like that. I want them to be able to be mobile like the accessories are, because there's a lot of floating issues and clipping issues in this game. And like I can't wear like a hat because like it floats halfway off my head and it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
Same thing with some of the capes and things like that. If we can actually just move it on our character, just like a basic move, like not even warp or stretch or anything, we just basically move it. Then
you can adjust it, like
happy. Just adjusting
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make me super happy.
Yeah, something very, very. If they look at this video, please add an option to copy past the color.
Oh yeah, please.
Thank you.
Please. And not just give us like numbers, because someone for like me, I'm colorblind. So like when I'm trying to memorize exactly what colors I used, it's a pain. I would love a copy paste. That would be great.
Yep.
Yeah, beyond that, I mean, like I really want the narrative to keep going from what they're going with now, and I want them to dive full into this new like Akatsuki that they're making, you know, with the swords and shepherds. I really want to delve into that. Ishka Oct, which is obviously originally that guy character that was in the Legends, the Wii game.
Yep.
Changing her and like making her this like mimic character as she was in 6 in the boss fight for season 2. If they make her a playable character where she's the new mimic character and mimics other characters' movesets, but she transforms into them when she does the moves, I think that would be amazing. And that's really easy to make her. Some of the boss characters from season 2, like Juan Gobak, I really loved him, even if it's not.
Yeah, he was great.
I would like to see Juan Gobak as a playable character. There's just a lot of things that like they started with that I want to see come back. SCVI is going to be interesting to me because I'm not sure if they're going to go with the whole werewolf narrative like they did last time, because pre-time skip, like this pre-timeline, Soul Calibur did a lot of weird things, right? Unexplained things. Like SCVI's werewolf. The fact that Raphael was like a vampire as opposed to just Malfested.
Yeah.
Like they don't explain any of that. So
they explained nothing.
Yeah, it's not explained.
There is nothing in the game, so it's crazy.
Right, and it's not like they have an anime to explain it. It's not like they have like, you know, a novel or something.
The wolf thing they did is they actually had a website, and you had to go on a website to find that Ziba was actually the son of Kilik and Tiangua, for example.
Oh yeah, like you didn't.
In the game, in the game, you don't have those informations. It's crazy how they cut the game.
Because the story was cut by 75%, right? So a lot of the characters were supposed to make appearances. It wasn't supposed to just be about like Patroclus and Pyrrha, but that's what it turned into. Afro Taku says, guest character, why not Sekiro? Isn't Sekiro PlayStation only?
No,
Oh,
because
Sekiro, like Shadows Die Twice, that game.
yeah,
Yeah, I can see that, but it depends on how popular the game is when Soul Calibur 7 is releasing, because they usually do main characters for cross promotional prep or like reasons only to help fund the game. So they've never used a character that's not, have something to promote, so it depends on how popular that game is at the time. I mean, we know that like Cloud and Dante from Devil May Cry were supposed to be guests at one point, and they fell through. So it'd be nice to see something like that.
I don't have any idea about guest character because I generally don't really like them, but I appreciate when they are done pretty good, and I think in Soul Calibur 6 they are pretty good. They're all done pretty good.
Because in 6, unlike 5, we can actually use their styles. That's what I like. The fact that we can actually use their styles and we get some of their like costume bits and stuff like that, that actually really helps with the character creator be more robust, and that's why I like them. I've never once in my life played as actual Geralt, except for in the story mode. You know what I mean? I've used some of his styles and his costumes for like other characters. I've never used him. As much as I like the Witcher series and whatnot, but I just think, and same with Halmaru, like I thought they kind of broke Mitsurugi a little bit with this game, the way his style works. Like I was always like partly a Mitsurugi main, and everyone else keeps like their base style and combo strings from prior games, but Mitsurugi's got really messed up, and I thought Halmaru would be a really good replacement for him. But Halmaru is a little funky to use as well. Like you got to really
he's a little slower also, but has more range.
Yeah, and 2B needs to be nerfed because she's ridiculous.
2B
is like nightmare level.
Actually, it's not 2B who needs to be nerfed. I discussed that with a French player recently, but I think one of the biggest issue of this game, and I'm not going to talk too much about this because it's a very technical issue, is the Unreal Engine 4 force the game to have like 6 or 7 milliseconds of input lag.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is in Soul Calibur 6, you have much more trouble defending against move. That makes some characters very strong, and
especially the zoners like 2B and
donuts, but also the character with a lot of aggression. Like you can't really back up and see a whiff and whiff punish because you have this 7 frame of delay, 7 millisecond of delay. So,
and that's the input delay just from Unreal Engine. That's not even from your controller to your TV. Like it's based on like 3 different things. You got your bandwidth of your internet, Unreal Engine itself, your controller lag, and your TV refresh rate. So all of that combined, like
but I know why they did this. The way they did it, it makes the game a bit more playable against players which are far away online. Like I can play with some US player online. It's playable. In Soul Calibur 5, it was like unplayable. You can't really play versus another continent. But in Soul Calibur 6, you can do it. Why? Because there is like 5 or 6, 7 milliseconds of delay, which helps. Like it feels like less different from offline, but it's still different. So I think that's a big issue of the game, and maybe the next game, if they get rid of that, the game will feel much more stabilized, and some character may feel better to fight against. And 2B is one of them.
Again, we can make an entire video probably on netcode or on Soul Calibur 5 itself. Sure. There's so much to talk about there. I'm not necessarily in a camp where they have to add rollback. There's other options that they can use.
So what do you don't want? What do you don't want?
What do I not want? I don't want them to replace any characters. I don't want them to continue to have the character creation parts locked behind genders and species or races. I also want the Soul Chronicles to be expanded upon and have a lot more of the side stories than just like, 1 or 2 fights and then like a bunch of reading. I would like to see more interactions especially not in the main story mode.
Mm.
I really want to see Libra of Souls expanded upon, or whatever replaces it expanded upon, that has a lot more of everything integrated into one cohesive story, with actual cutscenes, not just like 3 cutscenes for the whole thing. I do like the hidden stuff that they had in there, like the hidden bosses and the hidden like stages and stuff, and then the ancients. I loved all that stuff. It really did a lot for that. But I also want to see like a lot more lore in the actual game itself. Like, like I want more endings. I want actual arcade endings. I want some cinematics in the Soul Chronicles themselves, not just, again, reading. Because I think it would make it a lot more immersive. And I want to see like the creation engine expanded upon. And I also want to see it taken out of ranked. I don't want to see created characters in ranked. I think there should be a mode just for created characters. And then they should keep ranked and casual just locked to the cast characters, and then have a create a character mode. Because the hitboxes are different. There's a lot of differences with that. I think it's not fair. And I think beyond that, like you were saying, I want the menus to be overhauled a little bit, a lot more of just robustness added to the visualization of the
you remember in Soul Calibur 1 when you are doing the weapon master mode, when you are unlocking things, like you had a nice voice, you had a nice jingle saying you just earned something, you just collected something, you just finished something. So this is a very incentive to like grind the game. Like you want to grind the game, collect everything.
Unlockable.
They really need to improve that in Soul Calibur 6 and Soul Calibur 7.
I didn't like when we first boot up the game that like everything's available except for some stuff that costs money. I thought that was stupid. We really need to have things locked and be able to unlock things by playing the different modes of the game, not even just one mode. Like okay, you want to unlock Soul Calibur or Soul Edge for Killick, then you need to beat arcade mode with him, and you need to do his Soul Chronicle.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Even maybe
definitely. Not converted into money.
Right, because I thought that was ridiculous, and it's an easy cop out.
One of the bad thing I love about Soul Calibur, the Libra of Soul, is the whole thing about the materia, like the settings you can put on your weapon. I think they really should go more further about that, because I really love. I'm a competitive player, but I also like to play casually and do slippery mode, all of the fun things. And something that I really like is trying things. And if you have more combination possible with your weapon, it's gonna be really, really fun. Like something that I really loved in previous Soul Calibur games. You probably knew that is the Wang weapons. The Phantom weapons. The one which is like one screen longer.
It's just the hilt. And then I also miss like a lot of the different joke weapons. Like we have some in Soul Calibur 6, but every character used to have a good joke weapon. And I want to customize weapons. So like you're saying, I want to build upon that. So I want to have all of our regular weapons that we unlock, right? And then I also want to have a spot where you customize your weapon. And you save it for that character in its own slot, not like taking over any other slot. And adding things like accessories, like maybe like you kind of keychainy things to the hilt or any kind of things like that. Could you imagine putting like demon horns on like a katana like hilt, or making it look cool? Like you could do tons of stuff if they just allow the weapons to be customized.
And if they fear that it's gonna be repulsive for competitive play, they can just put this only.
Like we said, don't have any of that stuff in competitive. Just have
just put it in another mode where you can play with players who are just doing slippery mode or having 3-meter weapons. I don't know.
You can have ranked, you can have casual, then you can have create a soul mode, and then you can have free mode, which free mode would be doing the stage adjustments you're talking about, like slippery or earthquake or extreme tilt, no knockouts, no ring outs, one hit rockouts. Like you do fun, like that should be in a free mode. I totally agree. But like this game is supposed to be fun off the bat, right? It's supposed to be fun and immersive. So if we're not immersed and we're not having fun, then we're not playing Soul Calibur, in my opinion. And there's a lot of like things about Soul Calibur as a franchise as a whole that I love more than other fighting games. And part of it is because of like the lore and because of like the characters and because of like who they are. I just want them to bring more.
And the gameplay and the 3D gameplay. It's one of the most, when you play Tekken, you can't really sidestep.
Yeah.
In Soul Calibur, you can position yourself.
I think
there should be more ring interaction, like in Dead or Alive,
I think it's only second to Dead or Alive. I think Dead or Alive is the best fighting engine of any fighting game. It's the most free-flowing and the most free-form. But beyond that, I think Soul Calibur is the best. And it's certainly the best weapons-based. So if we see like more of that, I mean, I'd be all for it. I just don't want them to do something like with Virtual Fighter 5 where they have everything unlocked automatically and you just got to pay money for it.
Yeah.
Like I just want to be able to unlock stuff. Slurfer95 says, hey, Mark, will there be a play session after the stream? So just in case you don't know, if you become a member of my channel, if you join for any tier, we play with you after the stream, whether you're Xbox or PlayStation, doesn't matter. We have play sessions. You're welcome to join us today without joining if you want to, Hayate. You can whip us all
you
up
really we can try, but the problem is I'm pretty sure the PlayStation Network will be very hard because I'm in France and
I mean, I've played with people in the EU before, and I have gigabit internet, so if I'm hosting it should be okay.
I know it's better on PC generally. There is like 3 or 4 frames better.
I don't have any games right now on PC except for the arcade edition of Soul Calibur 3 because I use my PCs for work generally because I'm an artist also. So like I do like all my editing and stuff is on computer, but I do have it on Xbox and on PlayStation.
Okay.
So if you want to, you can send me your
the gamer tag. Yeah.
Your gamer tag or your PlayStation code, and I'll add it. My mod Atherin usually hosts, and don't let Solar Flare host. So Solar Flare is great. He's one of my members, but his internet is the worst in the entire universe. So if we let him host, we'll be watching a Wallace and Gromit like slideshow.
The only problem is I might not have paid my PlayStation Network, so I think I can't join. Besides, I have to check my credit card and pay him once again.
Oh, your PS
to be able
Plus.
to to get the plus. Can I say something about what I want in Soul Calibur 7?
Of course.
About the gameplay, more about the gameplay, because we've talked a lot about the lore, the immersion, etc. So I'm all about it. But also I want to say something for competitive players, because the only issue I had in Soul Calibur 6 is compared to other Soul Caliburs, Soul Calibur 6 seems a bit more friendly for new players and a bit more harsh for veteran players or classic players. The reason is there is a reversal edge, of course. There is a game much more permissive, and the game is like in older games, when you miss something, like you miss a launcher or something very slow get blocked, you will be punished pretty hard. In Soul Calibur 6, the game is much more permissive. You can do much more hunga bunga things. You can just press buttons and be much more dangerous.
Yeah, it's button mash like heavy, like friendly.
This is something that competitive players don't really like. So if they can just tone down the some of the things, like maybe make launchers a bit more unsafe, maybe make the game more reactive, maybe make reversal edge less permissive. What else? And the meter, of course, like giving 1 meter, and like there is too much way of winning meter, and soul charge is too much dominant. Like it's very frustrating. Like when somebody goes in soul charge, it's like, okay, I have 10 seconds, I have to live. This guy is crazy, and you're just blocking and just waiting the soul charge ends. It's a bit too much oppressive. So they really need
to use I mean, there's ways you can do like just guards and perfect guards still, and you can also go into soul charge yourself.
Yeah, you can go in Soul Charge, but
Because
something that I really don't like is
that's the thing. Once Soul Charge runs out, you're screwed. Like if
Yeah.
you're it's definitely a risk, which is why I like it, and it's way better in my opinion than Reversal Edge.
yeah, for sure. But the only thing is when I watch competitive matches, it's too much about Soul Charge. Like really, with the Soul Charge,
it is the best option in any match. So if you're not using it, it's going to be like in Fast and the Furious if you use NOS too fast.
Yeah,
or, you know,
and the biggest frustration about this is generally when you play competitively, what you want to do is master your skills, master the way the round is going, the pass is going, take correct decision to have a grip to win the entire match. The problem with Soul Charge is you can have a grip like 90% of the match, and the player will activate his Soul Charge, and he can just steal you around completely. So it's really, really, really too strong.
But that goes also into your previous point where you were talking about too easy for newcomers. If they actually let us have access to those moves and more advanced combo strings instead of locking it behind Soul Charge, I think they wouldn't need it. Because like you only get 100% of the character's moveset in Soul Charge. That's why it's so fun.
I know.
So if you actually have more in-depth combo strings or even possibly like into juggling, and no infinite combos, please. But if you
I think the only thing I want them to turn down is block stance on Soul Charge. Because when you're in Soul Charge, you're gonna try something. If it hits, you're gonna do like 30% damage combo. If it doesn't hit, it's still your turn. You know that's a bit too much. Like maybe they need to tone down a bit, or maybe a way to counter it. I don't know. But that's the only problem I see in the gameplay of the game. And the other problem may be Reversal Edge. But if they tone down the meter, or maybe if it costs meter, or if you can have a way to just not go in the cinematics, I think it should be fine. Because something that I really like in Soul Blade, I don't know if you remember, is when you clash, you have like this paper, rock, scissor, not a cinematic, but just you have to match.
Faster, though. Yeah,
you have to just match. That was great. That was cool.
I loved it. It was kind of like the beam struggles in the old Dragon Ball games.
Yeah, that was cool.
I liked it.
So yeah, that's the only two things that I want them to tone down on the gameplay. Other than that, I really like the fact that they have put so much moves, so much options, the little hits, which let you play a game in a game. Like with some character, you can play like a quest. Like you're playing Wong, you're doing a quest for your little hits. At the same time, you're playing the game. So it's really fun.
I think every character needs those secondary subs though, like they added to some of the newer characters, like Amy with her roses, or Huang with his talisman. I think every character needs some form of that. But I don't want them all to hurt. Like they shouldn't all play like Yoshimitsu, where like you're hurting yourself, or Huang, where you're hurting yourself. You know?
Oh yeah, that
takes very specific inputs in order to do those. And some people that are just trying to play and learn moves, they're like, why is all my health gone? Like no reason.
Yeah, that's true. That's a bit too much. Yeah, that's the only thing I want them to keep the creativity in the game, keep the moves, keep the mechanics, keeps the little hits, keeps everything. Keep the characters, but please tone down a bit the randomness of the game. Like,
I agree. And with that, we're going to end the stream, guys. I'm going to give it off to Hayate real quick to tell him where to find him. So give yourself a plug real quick, and then we will end the stream.
Okay.
Tell people where to find you and what you're up to.
Yeah. So actually, I'm not very active in Soul Calibur, but I'm working to do something very quickly. Maybe next year, I don't know. Maybe next year, maybe before. But you can find me on Twitter on Hayate Ein. I generally retweet good stuff about Calibur for now. And then you can find me on YouTube. I really suggest you to go on YouTube if you really want to learn the game, because I've done a lot of good videos about how to move in the game.
Yeah,
tutorial, etc. I'm also doing coaching on Metafy, So you can go on Metafy, tap Hayate, and you can have a free personalized session with me if you really want to go deeper in the competitive scene. And that's all. I'm basically waiting to find a new job, and when I'm gonna find a new job, I'm gonna restart doing some events on my Twitch channel. I was doing some tournaments or some fun events, and that's all. You can find me on these 3 places.
Well, thank you for being on the stream. I appreciate having you here. Thanks for taking the time. And for everyone that's in the chat, I do recommend that you go into my description box and follow Hayate on Twitter, and also subscribe to his YouTube channel because he has really great content, as we saw. And let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want me to do more of these kind of interview-esque or discussion-esque live streams with other Soul Calibur community members and things of that sort. We're going to try to get a lot more people on the channel with that. I know that we've been doing comic book stuff heavy lately, so I want to get back to some Soul Calibur. And also, if you are new here and you love Soul Calibur and anything about that, then please subscribe to my channel as well. I would greatly appreciate it. Again, if you want to join, there is a 99-cent tier, which is the cheapest one, and you can still play with us online after the live streams. And also, with that being said, you guys know how to end it. So I want to see all the Yoon-Fam members in the chat. How do we end streams around here? Let's give them a second because of the lag. I love it. Thank you. Sound off, guys.
Thank you a lot. The best, the Lord channel for Soul Calibur. Please subscribe.
And
to Mark Yoon.
Peace.